Now more than ever, digital technology is playing a vital role in the way we work. Search Acumen aims to use this technology to bring an increased efficiency to the legal due diligence process, keeping it relevant now and in the future. I'm joined by their Managing Director, Andrew Lloyd, to explain more. Andrew, many thanks for joining us today. Clearly, the pandemic has had a huge impact on all of us, not all of it positive, but there have been some silver linings too, haven't there?
Yes, indeed. Lots of businesses have had to reevaluate the way that they use their technology. And this has resulted in widespread and rapid adoption by people who traditionally would have avoided the technology because their methods of working on a day-to-day basis had been okay up until now. Having to try out everything from virtual meetings replacing the meeting room to sharing documents and electronic information through online tools like Microsoft Teams. And this has meant that there's been a very rapid change in the way that people view the use of technology in their business. And what they're realizing through that forced change is that this is a lot easier and a lot more flexible for much of their workforce and for much of their business than perhaps they had previously believed.
How long overdue do you think some of these tech changes were in the housing industry?
I think the housing industry is interesting because we as an industry have not necessarily adopted a lot of these changes because we haven't needed to. The pressure hasn't been there from inside the industry. We've been able to buy and sell 1 million homes a year for the last 25 years using the processes that are already in place. So that constant pressure to change is not there. What we're finding now is that because of this change, the industry is looking at new ways of working, adopting these technologies, adopting the use of data more widely. And this is accelerating the change that would have come anyway. The other thing to bear in mind for the UK, of course, is that the global property market and the inward investment the UK gets from property is increasingly going to be challenged by overseas markets. There'll be big opportunities as property markets grow in China, in Brazil, in the Far East, which means that the investment that would have come into the city and other areas of the UK will more and more be attracted to more efficient and more stable electronically driven markets in other countries. So now more than ever, it's important for the UK to start to think about adopting these transactions, using the data and thinking about the way that they're going to manage property information and property transactions in the future to keep up globally.
And tell us about the role that Search Acumen is playing in this huge digital shift.
Our view has always been that as more and more of the data that's used in property becomes digitised, means that you are able to search and manage huge amounts of information on property, and somebody has to be able to manage that. That's more data than humans themselves can cope with reading through. So you have to put in place searching technologies and algorithms that are going to find the information and data that you want on a particular property. We've been creating over the past few years a series of tools that will allow the legal profession essentially in the first instance, but it will go wider than that, to be able to search on both aerial and individual property basis to pull up lots of information about property that allows the due diligence to be done on an instance basis. And we've launched products like our data snapshot report and our commercial real estate foresight platform that allow lawyers to get used to using this data on a day-to-day basis. As more and more of this data becomes trusted, then eventually the old way of doing things will be removed and will be purely able to have an app on your phone essentially that you can stand in front of any property in the UK and know exactly what you need to know about that property in order to buy or sell that home.
Andrew Lloyd, many thanks for joining us. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks for having me.